Okay, track me. Follow. Are you still following? Still following? Awesome. Guys, I have had gimbals before, but this is the first with active track. I think I'm in love. Right, great run. What's up fam, Rahim here and welcome to another episode. In this episode, I'm going to be trying out DJI's new gimbal, the Osmo Mobile 6. Hey alamak, where did the light go? Somewhere there. So anyways, just a disclaimer, this is not a sponsored review, but DJI did send me this piece to review and damn, I mean, just not give it back. DJI, just kidding, alright, but we'll talk about it. So I've been toying with this gimbal for the past few days. There are a few things that make it awesome and definitely one of it is which impressed me is I have never had a gimbal that will power up itself the moment you unfold it. And once that's done, all you need to do is get your mobile phone on the mount that's given to you and just clip it on. It's magnetic. There you go. The system will recognize it and it will do its calibration thing and you're good to go. There's also a separate light accessory for your selfies, but take note that for both these mounts, it can only accept phones that are up to 84mm width, and in totality, the gimbal motor can only take up to 290 grams, alright? So just make sure that it does not overload the motor. One of the things I really like about this gimbal is that it has a clear display that makes it very easy for you to choose between the four gimbal modes. You can choose follow mode, which stabilizes the panning and tilting of the gimbal. Press the M button to cycle into tilt dock, which actually locks your tilt but still allows panning of the gimbal. You can then go over to FPV mode, which will unlock all axes of the gimbal, meaning you can have your pan, tilt and also the roll axis. And the final mode is the spin shot, which is actually the FPV mode, but now you can have the joystick to control the roll of the gimbal. To get the full potential of this gimbal, get into the Mimo app, and that's where this gimbal will truly shine with its Active Track 5.0. All you need to do is just highlight your subject and let the gimbal do its work. And when it's time to get really creative, the built-in extension rod not only lets you get those high perspectives, but also the really down low sweeps. No worries about mounting options because you can always unscrew the legs and then mount to any tripod because it accepts a 1/4 inch screw. This gimbal takes about 1.5 hours to charge and should last you for about 6 hours. I almost forgot to mention, this gimbal has a good fitting grip, for my hand anyways. My thumb can easily reach all of the controls, with this being the zoom in zoom out knob, and if you were to tap once, you will actually change the mode depending on your phone of course. You can change to do a bit of focus racking. Now what is focus racking is basically you can change your focus. You want what's further away to be in focus or what's nearer to you. You have your joystick to control the pan, tilt or roll of the gimbal depending on your mode, and then there is of course M is for mode. You can switch between the different modes. The record button is just here for easy access, and over here is the cycle button where if you were to tap once, it will toggle between the front and selfie cameras. Double tap for either horizontal or vertical shooting, and then if you were to tap 3 times, that will give you the different shooting modes of either video or photo. And let's say you have a call to make or a message to send out, that's where you can just settle down the gimbal, tap M 3 times, and then that's where the gimbal will go into standby mode. Just plug off your phone, do what you need to do, and then when you want to revive it again, press any button, it will just present itself to you and back to work. So wow, that sounds like the perfect gimbal, or that's what Rahim is pitching to you, but actually that's not the case. For one, this clip works best with Apple phones because the firmware is not ready yet for Samsung. If you have the Mimo app on an Apple phone, the moment you attach your mobile phone to the gimbal, the system will power up and also the app will open up. But for Android, nothing's happening. Next thing is that while exploring the app, I noticed that there is actually no setting for me to choose the frame rate. I can choose the different resolutions of 4K, 2.7 or 1080p, but I do not have that frame rate option. I'm stuck at 30 FPS. So maybe hopefully that's a firmware update issue, because cannot be my phone doesn't have the frame rate options. With my default camera app, I am able to access the frame rate options. So I really hope it's a firmware that just needs to be updated. Third issue, just now I mentioned that this scroll, if you tap in, you can then go from zoom to focus mode, right? It does the focusing well, sensitive enough, but I wish they had focus peaking. Okay, focus peaking is basically like it shows you on screen what is in focus and what's not, in the form of like green or blue or red highlights right around the area that is being focused. So without focus picking, it's kind of hard for me to really see what I'm focusing on, especially on a small screen like the mobile phone. And the last thing that I want to mention is about this being a fold away gimbal. So you fold your gimbal, alright, it's all nice and handsome, right? Tightly packed, you can unpack this and then put inside a bag. What happens to the clip? The clip is not something that you can reattach on the gimbal once it's folded in place like this. So I wish there was a better way to do this. They did supply a bag to go with this, but that's kind of not what I want to run it, you know. I kind of want it in all one piece. Like if it's folded, the clip should still be here, but it can't be here. So, but I guess it's just slim enough that after you detach it, you can just still keep it in your pocket or your bag. Well, anyways, there's just some things which I thought could have been improved for like the 6th version of this gimbal, but nothing there to really make or break the situation. So let me just close this review with mentioning that we all know that the stabilization of phones have really reached a point of crazy. So why would you need a gimbal? Well, for whatever the shortcomings that camera stabilization on your phone cannot give, that's where the gimbal will give you. For myself, that's what I find when I really want to get those super low shots and I'm like running about. I want it stabilized not only in my movements, but also I want to keep that horizon locked on my subject. Now that's where the gimbal comes in. There is no way I could be running around with my mobile phone shooting those really low shots and still keeping the subject pointed in the correct direction. So yeah, that's where the gimbal will come along really great. So this is where I'm really glad that DJI came out with this mobile gimbal series, because let's face it, not everyone has the big rigs to carry about DSLRs and get those really awesome shots. Now, most of us just want to create videos with mobile phones, and at least you have this for the consumer to get those really awesome shots. So anyways, before I leave you for some B-roll, let me hear from you. What do you think of the shots that I'm going to be showing you? And also, do you think there are better options than the Osmo Mobile 6? And with that, I'm going to wrap it up right here. Now, if you've liked this episode, do give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already. Chat with me. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Pilots, as always, I'll see you in the skies. Peace.